Well, hey guys, you all have reached out to me in the comments of my videos and on Instagram asking for some recommendations for the ongoing Dermstore sale. Dermstore is having their annual summer sale and a lot of things are 20% off. So I thought I would share with you some skincare picks if you are interested. The first is actually hair care products. A shampoo by Philip Kingsley. It's fragrance free. They're no scent, no color shampoo. You guys know I recommend the Function of Beauty shampoo and conditioner a lot because you can choose to get your shampoo and conditioner free of fragrance and dyes, which can be really hard to find. But this particular product is a nice alternative that has a variety of proteins and humectants in it to really help with dry, brittle hair. They have a no scent, no color shampoo that is really good if you have sensitive skin, a sensitive scalp. I also saw that super expensive shampoo that I tried, the Philip B one, in my disappointing products. I saw that brand also has a fragrance-free shampoo, but it has methyl isothiazolinone in it. So, you know, that's another common allergen. It's hard to avoid, but the Philip Kingsley shampoo doesn't have that in it. So I thought I would recommend that to you guys. All right, but then in the realm of skincare, this is a product that I talk about a fair amount as an option for a topical vitamin A. It's by Avène. It is their Retinaldehyde moisturizer. Now, Retinaldehyde is actually not as common in cosmeceuticals as retinol. And the Avène product is really good. I've seen studies from Avène that have actually been done in clinics on actual people and patients that really show that it does in fact work. It's always an issue with cosmeceutical topical vitamin A derivatives is like there's no responsibility really on the manufacturer to demonstrate efficacy. They can just pump things out. So I'm really picky with what topical vitamin A stuff I recommend to you guys. I love the Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair Retinol Regenerating Cream. That's a great one. And of course, Differin is about as active as you can get, but a lot of you all find that that's irritating and you don't get along with it and you ask for alternative suggestions. CeraVe Resurfacing Retinol is another great one. Oh my God, my contact just like tried to pop off my eyeball. Did you see that? I kind of spazzed. Anyway, yeah, so those are some good drugstore retinols. But retinaldehyde is hard to find, honestly. And it is a little bit more active, so it'll start working faster. The Avène product's really good. It is on the more expensive side, but it is in this current sale. So retinaldehyde is good, obviously, for removing sun-damaged skin cells. It can help improve hyperpigmentation, and with ongoing use, it can boost up the collagen production in your skin. If you have acne, it will also help with that in terms of regulating skin cell biology to make your pores less prone to clogging and kind of help with oil secretion and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, it's a great ingredient for that. But this product also has some oleopeptides in it. Now I've got videos talking about peptides, but Avène is using these lipopeptides basically. It's a peptide that has kind of a fatty end attached to it. So by adding the lipid moiety onto the peptide, it just kind of helps it dissolve into the waxy layer, the top layer of your skin. Now peptides, manufacturers, they'll show you lab studies suggesting that the peptides boost collagen production and whatnot. But at any rate, they are really wonderful humectants. And the fact that this has that little lipid moiety on it to help it really get into that crusty top layer, this is a product that's really going to help with hydration and smoothing out wrinkles and fine lines. It's going to just hydrate up the skin and really smooth out the skin surface. It's a good one. Another product by Avène that I recommended in my video on their cleansers that you guys might be interested in, the Zerocalm AD Lipid Replenishing Cleansing Oil. Now, cleansing oils I always use to remove my sunscreen and my mascara. And there's actually been a recent paper suggesting that using an oil-based cleanser is actually one of the best ways to remove water resistant sunscreen. So for those of you who have been looking for a cleansing oil, you might want to try this one out. It is very good. It has some emulsifiers added so that once you break up that film on the skin, when you step into the shower, the emulsifiers help the oily broken up film layer rinse off. I use a gentle cleanser as well in the shower to really ensure that it's off. But yeah, this is a great choice. I mean, currently I'm using the Neutrogena body oil as my oil cleanser and it works really well. But you know, this is an alternative that you might want to give a try. Neostrata is a brand that I recommend a fair amount that is on the pricier side and is in the sale. And I often will suggest it to you guys in my videos on alpha hydroxy acids or polyhydroxy acids. They're really good at those ingredients, this brand. Their glycolic renewing smoothing cream is fantastic. It's a 10% glycolic acid moisturizer and a shea butter base. It's very rich and it's great for adding hydration to the skin, smoothing out wrinkles and fine lines. If you have skin textural irregularities, it will help with that, as I suggested in my video on textured skin. And it's also really good for helping to remove some sun damaged skin cells superficially and brightening up areas of hyperpigmentation when used consistently. And it's very well formulated. It's not irritating. Now, this product does have glycolic acid in it. So if you are using topical vitamin A, this is not the kind of moisturizer that you want to use at the same time. So for example, you could use this in the morning if you wanted to, but you wouldn't want to use it at night with your topical vitamin A because that could just make it more irritating. You know, alpha hydroxy acid plus topical vitamin A, it's a little less clear how the two interact and interfere with one another, but if anything, combining them together certainly can increase the irritation of the active. But another ingredient kind of similar to alpha hydroxy acid, very similar to alpha hydroxy acid, but a lot gentler that Neostrata does really well is polyhydroxy acid. This is a great acid for people with really sensitive skin or dry skin. Wonderful in terms of its ability to add hydration to the skin and lightly and gently exfoliate the skin. Polyhydroxy acids are things like gluconolactone, lactobionic acid. So the Neostrata Bionic Face Cream is a great one, and that could be used alongside topical vitamin A in the same part of the routine. So for example, you could use that at night and you could use topical vitamin A. Polyhydroxy acids seem to be okay with topical vitamin A. And by topical vitamin A, I mean prescription retinoid or retinol in cosmeceuticals or retinaldehyde like the Aven product. And it's also really good if you have some superficial hyperpigmentation that you're trying to brighten up. And there is a lot of evidence that it has anti-aging benefits in terms of kind of helping to hydrate the deeper layers of the skin and potentially stimulate collagen. So polyhydroxy acids are certainly worth pursuing and are much low risk than many alpha hydroxy acids can be. And by risk, I mean the risk of irritation is a lot lower. So yeah, Neostrata does a really good job. As a matter of fact, they've been doing polyhydroxy acids probably the longest of any of these skincare brands, so I have a lot of faith in them. So yeah, that's a good one. And then I personally love the Neostrata Sheer Physical SPF 50 Tinted Mineral Sunscreen. I mentioned it in my tinted sunscreen video, so check that out. But it's a good tinted sunscreen if you have pale skin. You're not gonna be too pleased with it if you have a darker, deeper skin tone. You're gonna be like, this kind of, it's the kind of shade that makes you look a little violet. But for people with pale skin seeking a tinted sunscreen, this is a great choice. So that's in the sale and it's typically kind of expensive. And that particular sunscreen, you guys, is really good if you have either oily skin or dry skin. It doesn't dry matte though. It dries with kind of a dewy, glowy finish. You guys know I've been a long time fan of the Color Science Sunforgettable Total Face Shield. It's water resistant, SPF 50 tinted mineral sunscreen. Very good if you have sensitive skin. Like the Neostrata product, it's good for oily or dry skin, but it doesn't dry super matte, but it's a little less dewy than the Neostrata. I also obviously adore the Color Science 3-in-1 Total Eye Tinted Eye SPF. Many of you love it, like myself. but many of you hate it and feel like it wasn't worth it. And I feel as though the unifying factor in the people who are not happy with it is the fact that it definitely can settle into the creases of your eyelids. I don't experience that issue, but I definitely hear that in the comments a fair amount. So, you know, try it out if you want to, with that, knowing that that can happen, but it doesn't happen to me. And I like that they have a variety of shades too. And what I really love about that product is that it definitely helps with color correction under the eye and helps to camouflage. If you have any discoloration, it does a good job camouflaging that and brightening it up. It also will camouflage veins around the eye like I have. I'm not wearing it right at the moment, but yeah, it's really good. Doesn't pill up or ball, stays in place. I mean, it really looks fantastic on the skin. Another sunscreen honorable mention that is on the pricier side, but definitely worth it, and in this sale, is MD Solar Science. Their SPF 50 tinted mineral water resistant sunscreen is amazing. As is, they have an SPF 30. The SPF 50 is a little bit better for a paler skin tone, whereas the SPF 30 is tinted a little bit deeper for a darker skin tone. I can get away with wearing either one, but I find that the SPF 30 product gives me a little bit more of a kind of bronzy look, as opposed to the SPF 50 product is more to my natural skin tone. The MD Solar Science sunscreens are really good if you have oily skin. They don't feel greasy or heavy, but they're super moisturizing. They do have a lot of slip to them. They are in a silicone-centric base, kind of have that smoothing look. But if you don't get along with silicones, you're not gonna like the MD Solar Science ones. Moving on, you guys know I love Coats. Guess what? I recently learned, I love this brand so much, and I only recently learned this. Coats stands for contains only titanium and zinc, meaning the active sunscreen ingredients. I love the Prime and Protect SPF, and it is great if you have phototype 3 and higher. It just looks really nice on the skin. It is a little bit more silicone centric, you might say. It's really good for oily skin, but it does have that blurring effect, which a lot of people like, including myself. That is great. It's in this sale. Now, Replenics, they do a fantastic job with their sunscreens. They have a sunscreen for people with oily skin that's really good and doesn't get enough attention. Their Ulti Matte SPF 50. This is tinted a little bit on the deep end of the spectrum. So it's great if you're phototype 4, 5, and 6 and have oily skin. I can get away with wearing it on phototype 3, but it is a little more noticeable. I definitely have to be careful to make sure that I'm blended out on the sides. Otherwise I have a noticeable line. So Ultimatte is perfect if you have oily skin and or a deeper skin tone like phototypes 4 and higher. Doesn't pill, doesn't ball, and it's great if you have sensitive skin and that it's free of like garbagey ingredients and it's mineral based, so it just doesn't have avobenzone and things. As a matter of fact, all of the sunscreens, you guys, just as an aside that I've mentioned, are mineral sunscreens. So if you find that chemical sunscreens sting or burn, don't worry. The ones that I'm mentioning here, they're all mineral. If you have a paler skin type though, a Replenic sunscreen you should try if you're interested is their Sheer SPF 50. It, again, doesn't pill, doesn't ball. It's not as matte though as the Ulti Matte. It's a little bit more, it has a little bit more of that silicone slip to it, but not to the same degree as the MD Solar Science. And it's not tinted. So it does have a little bit of a cast, but it's not bad at all. That's a great one, especially if you have sensitive skin. With sprays, there are a lot of issues around sunscreen sprays. Like, it's hard to gauge how much you're actually getting on your skin. If you use them while you're outside, they end up, you end up with most of the product out in the atmosphere. And so, they're just not as reliable. If you use it correctly, their spray is really good. Comment below on if you'd like a video on sunscreen sprays that I recommend. While they do have these limitations that I've indicated, they definitely have a role. They're very helpful, and studies show that basically patients are much more willing to use a spray or stick than a cream or lotion. And so, you know, there are some good ones out there, and they are helpful for applying to children who are wiggly, and they're helpful for reapplying throughout the day. I'm a big fan of Dermstore. They have a ton of great products on there. And they're an authorized distributor of like the medical grade skincare stuff, like Elta MD. So you don't have to worry about getting a counterfeit product. So yeah, I've always been happy with Dermstore. So yeah, those are my Dermstore summer sale picks. There are a lot of great sunscreens in this sale. I have them for summertime. But comment below, and if you'd like a video about sunscreen sprays, I'd be happy to do that. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.